Welcome, everybody. This is another edition of Old versus New. This is yours truly, Alberto Martinez, CEO of Last Night from Comics, writer, author, illustrator of the upcoming Clockpeople, formerly of Rogue Warrior Drake, which is has successfully funded and has been fulfilled. And more books will be on the way soon, including a second book. And of course, Clockpeople, the mailing list is up live on Indiegogo. The book that will either make you laugh or piss you off. I guarantee to do either or both. Shilling, you're looking at Playmates Gorosaurus. I saw this figure today at the Pennsylvania Toy Show and Comic, and I was surprised that they actually made this figure. This is one of Playmates' uh, figures. I don't know if this was a early Bandai mold that they borrowed, like they did with the first round of figures, or if this is one of their exclusive figures. And I'm gonna review it in a sec. But this is how it looks in the box. You see the tail separate, and these are the other figures in the line. Jet Jaguar, which I have. The Burnt Godzilla, as well as, of course, Gorosaurus and Rodan, surprisingly. I'm surprised they have Rodan as part of the line, and I'm going to see if I can try to locate this figure for a review down the road for the second Old versus New Rodan, because I have Old versus New Rodan in my channel already. I compared the NECA 2004 19 Rodan with the 92 Bandai, as well as the Rebel Tech figure. So this is Gorosaurus, how he looks out of the box. And this is the now if this is how Playmate does their figures, if this is an original mold from Playmates, I'm actually gonna say I'm very impressed. Very impressed by it. It is a very impressive Gorosaurus. The plastic or vinyl, I don't know if it's plastic or vinyl, but it's pretty sturdy. It's not hollow. And it's got, all kinds of well, not all kinds, but the arms can move up and down. See, the head moves sideways. So you got that the legs move up and down. A little tight, but you can move them. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of articulation. Oh, six, because the tail also moves around the way. So it's pretty basic figure in terms of point of articulation. This is the Bandai 92 Gorosaurus, and it has the same point of articulation too. Also, it's got the head that moves. Although with this one, the head doesn't move all the way onto the side. It's very tight. I never tried to go further than this. So that's the one thing I'll give this figure, is that the head does move quite a bit side to side. Arms also move up and down, this one, but not that far up. Legs move up and down also. Um, so as far as like the comparisons, the 92 Bandai Gorosaurus is about an inch taller than the Playmates. It's also got a darker green tint on it. This one has a dull. This has a emerald green to it. That one's more of a duller turquoise. I think the color scheme on this one is more closer to the films. What you're gonna find is that the this particular figure is a bit more accurate to the films than this one is. And as much as I love the Bandai Gorosaurus, and it's such a collector's item because Gorosaurus is one of those figures that they didn't make variations of. You have different variants of Godzilla, of course. Quite a few King Ghidorah variants. Plenty of Mothra variants. But Gorosaurus, along with Anguirus, is one of those monsters that very sought after with very little variance. It's either this figure in the Bandai line, or you had to wait till another figure came down the road. And this is the only figure in the Bandai line that was made up until this one. If this is an original Playmates mold, I'm very impressed by it. It's got its flaws. So let's go over the flaws first before I go over the praises of it. So the height notwithstanding, one thing you'll notice is that the head on the Playmates kind of tilts to the side a little bit. So it almost seems like if it's emulating the rubber suit, kind of, the head is tilting to the side to indicate hollowness and nothing supporting it. And of course, the Bandai version is very sturdy. It's almost, I would dare say, straight. But the one thing that this figure captures very well is the stockiness of the suit. As you can see, the tummy and the chest is a little wider, so it indicates more space. This one indicates more of a Weight Watchers look to it, so it's not necessarily suit accurate in relation to the film. That's not a bad thing. It's just that I know that this is more suit accurate than this is, and the skin texture on this one is also very pronounced. This one's a bit more duller. Not a bad thing. It's not really even a knock against it. It's just an observation. But the one thing I definitely that caught my eye with this figure is how well made the head is. So you see how, like, in the Bandai version, that the head is a bit more, I would say, rounder, if that's accurate. Whereas in the Playmates version, the head is definitely more longer. with an angular lower jaw, which is again more accurate to the films. Um, it's also got a smaller head. If you notice in the band, the head is definitely bigger in proportion to the rest of the body. If this is the quality that Playmates is going to go with going forward, I am very impressed with it, and I think that they're going to do a great job with the Godzilla stuff. Again, you see it from the back. The Bandai is longer. It seems more sturdier, and the Playmates, you could tell it's copying a little bit of the indentation of the suit with the head going in, sinking a little bit. Again, the tilting, eh, it's slightly. I mean, the tilting here with as far as the body itself is because of the surface that's staying on, but you notice the head is definitely tilting more towards the right. Again, I think it's emulating the look of the movies because of the heaviness of the suit. But it's a minor gripe, but it's an observation that I wanted to point out. But I definitely love the plastic, or I don't know if it's plastic or vinyl that this is made out of, but it's very hard. I mean, it's not hard, but it's maybe slightly softer than the material that was used to make the Kong and Godzilla figures from the Kong versus Godzilla line that Playmates did, which I reviewed the King Kong figure for in another video. If you can find this figure, I don't know how much it's going for now. I mean, when you go to these toy fairs or these cons, you get them at a certain price. You may get a deal with the vendor, or they may charge you like $5 or $10 more because of the scarcity of it. And I have not seen this figure in Walmart or Target, so I don't know about its availability. Maybe online you could find them more plentiful, but as far as like going in person, it hasn't hit those stores yet. And I don't know if it's another situation where like with He-Man where I didn't start seeing him pop up in like FYE or Target until after it made the rounds in the conventions and toy shows. But that's an observation more than it is anything. The Playmates figure, surprisingly, is either on par or you could argue that it's actually better than the Bandai figure. So I actually do prefer the Playmates Gorosaurus. It's actually a very good sculpt, good color scheme. The points of articulation are just about the same. So I want to say good job on Playmates' part. Good job on them. They did a good sculpt. So far they've been impressive. Considering their price tags, they've been very impressive in their sculpting. Their King Kong Godzilla figures have been pretty good. I did buy the Kong figure, and I reviewed that. I didn't get the Godzilla figure because I'm not a big fan of that design per se. It's not a bad design, but I'm not a big fan of it. But if you are a fan of the design, then the Playmates figure is definitely pretty good. I would recommend picking that up. I did buy the Jet Jaguar figure in this line. My only gripe with that figure is that the mobility issues. The It has very little points of articulation. It's almost like buying a statue almost with the Jet Jaguar figure. So I found it to be a little bit disappointing, but I did like the sculpting of it. The Gorosaurus, however, I think is probably the best figure in this line. I haven't bought the Rodan figure yet, so I don't know how good that one's gonna be in person. I know how it looks in the box, but how it looks on a display is not the same as how it is when you actually have the figure in your hand. But Gorosaurus, I will say I'm impressed by it. I love this figure. It is a very good figure. It's an excellent Gorosaurus looking figure, and I definitely recommend it if you can buy it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get swiped up very soon. And it's gonna be a collector's item soon because of the scarcity of Gorosaurus and because he's one of those kaiju's that they don't make enough of. There isn't an abundance of Gorosaurus figures, so whenever you see a Gorosaurus, you snatch it up because you can guarantee it'll go up in price in the secondhand market. That's just how this goes. But I definitely recommend it. It's a good figure. It's very well made, and the price tag is pretty decent. So pick it up whenever you can. That's my recommendation. And yeah, he'll be a great addition to your collection. Anyway, I thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Tune in later for more material on the channel. And for those of you that, by the way, for those of you, and I should have said this in the beginning, but for those of you that like these toy reviews, I know that my channel is bombarded with all kinds of different material. So I always put the playlist in the description for the toy reviews on it so that you can look at past old versus new reviews. They go back to like 2012, 2011, so you get to see some of the older ones. So go check them out and look at a little bit of the history, a little bit of the um, the nostalgia and how times have changed in terms of sculpting. I'm sure you guys will appreciate it. So thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.